and yeah, it's a dark Monday, not very bright. I hope it gets better. Yeah, but yeah, I'm thinking either way we move, it's just that days like this that are cold, that seem to predict rain, are not good for people that sell drinks. Yeah, but overall kajamu kabadde katonotono. Yeah. So you guys, I hope you're doing well. You had a good weekend. I did not broadcast through the weekend because it was quite busy. Good morning, Kenneth. The weekend was quite busy. Morning, Emma. Yeah, on the weekend we bought a car we went with a friend of mine from here, and we bought a car. Good morning, Brian. Twaguze emotoka gye bayita Kosa. Twagiguze $1,500,000. It was a very good car. Yeah, we of course we moved around. We saw some other cars as well, and bwetwamaze oziraba bwetwazze kwene emotoka nga terina byakukola kwegamba. It didn't have a lot of work. Yeah, it had three very good tires. Evuddeko bampa yange evuddeko mbuuza kiga muntu mukulu naawe mutomedde bampa yange ogira ekiwalaata okyatambulira ne ku booda wekyo ekiwalaata kyo anti bye bava babatta ne bababya emitwe. Owa booda avuze bubi asijja. So you guys, how are you? I hope you guys are doing well. Mbadde byowa boda nga agenda gweri ate mubuuza bampa yange ogijjeeko awoza biki. So you guys, I hope you're doing well. Council, said road rage is bad, but sometimes wesanganga chikususeko. So today we are going to be talking about, yeah, Brian, ate owa boda akuba bampa yo nga ali mu nsobi ate nakulaga nti agenda nga takunyeze nakunyega. Omubuuza bampa yange evuddeko eyulise mpeeko wenyimirira ata agira bwe tewali wa mask wano. So you guys, today we're going to be talking about the things that should probably guide you before you buy a car. Bino ebintu mbigamba abantu bange abagenda okugula emmotoka. It's very important that we have them in mind. These are things that probably I should have been told before I bought my first car. I was a young person. I bought my first car at 20, and I just bought it because I wanted to buy a car. And I know so many people that just buy a car because they just want a car. and Elasu Ben. Yeah, so they just buy a car because they want to buy a car, just the way I bought my first car. Katibano beto made it day one no obalengera what taxi no what town S, and the town S driver is actually a woman. But ate what taxi nga yakabufuuyira emmoroka yo gikoonako n'omuwulira agenda mujjamu akasente. So there are just 5 things that I think we should discuss. Of course, me and you guys. So what you need to document. By the way, I'm going to document zebra crossings. I'm going to be recording the reactions of people when you stop at zebra crossings. The reactions are legendary. Like, people don't expect a Ugandan driver to stop for them at zebra crossings. So many times when I stop at zebra crossings, people actually thank me. And it's a very good practice for a driver to stop at a zebra crossing because the point of a zebra crossing, especially on highways like this northern bypass, is that you stop and people cross without them worrying to again backward. But sometimes you actually stop for someone to cross, naga no crossing. Ngamanyi gomulesa agenda nayo wa border agenda musanga yo. Yeah, mostly they're scared of borders because our border ati yajamba ze. Did you guys see the video of border accident? And did you realize that majority of the times, it's actually the border guys that are in wrong? It's like border guys think cars have automatic brakes. Yeah, yingira buyingizi. And I think the fault is also partially of the people that are passengers. When a person sits on the border, abala bonnati balina magezi. But driver bemoroka bonnati balina magezi. Yeah. Owa border amuvuga yalina magezi, and I think it's a very bad thing. When someone sits on a border, the border guy yasingensi you know kutegira at that moment. You don't even tell them why you want to vuga mpora wanot dusenyo, which I think ideally should be done. It might save your life. And all these fatal accidents, if you look at that video, the very fatal accidents, wa border ayingira highway agiyingira ngemoroka agirengereja nendo za mulinga kimugambe yajja kuyimirira tasobola tutomera, and they blast them. So for the guys that are in Kampala, for you guys that are coming back Christmas season nga togenda kubana moroka, when you take a border, be very careful. Bera nga gwa avuga, you need to be the co-driver. The border is your body. You need to be very careful. What border akutta nadduka, like for example the chick whose head was crushed by a trailer. The border guy saw that it was going to happen. Yena abuka ku pichi nadduka. Omwana muwala ne bamulinnyo omutwe ne bagwabya. So otula ku border no wagiro wa border ngaba abadde bagyeko bumper yange. No wagiro wa border naye wa border bwakusula mu trailer yenga adduka pichi ngagirekawo. Nga bakuziika. And I've seen like four passengers actually so far. Nga owa border avuga ebitaliyo naye nga passenger awaga wa border. So let's go to our should I go round? Look at the bus, go round, but there is jam that side. So think these things you should not miss them before you buy a car. Before you actually decide that let me buy a car at 10 million. I think you need to think closely about these things. It's important that we think about these things. Obutakola nsobi. Just trying to see the damage they have done. They have actually not done any damage. That's all they had to say. why bampa yange evuddeko. He only had to send it there, but atandise kuvuma. Yes Ivan nze nalumbye ddaye wange bwotavaayo ku macha oyinza obutatuuka gy'olaga mu budde. So you guys, we are going to talk about the things that you need to think about closely before you actually buy a car, and if the answers to them are as appropriate, then you can go ahead and buy a car. Because most of the times when you think of buying a car, people actually think a lot before building a house than the amount of thought that people put in before they build a house should actually be the same amount of thought that we put in when we are going to buy a car. But apparently I realized that majority of the time fe ate amaanyi tugassa ku nyumba mu kulowooza nga tunazimba nyumba okusinga okulowooza nga tonnagula mmoroka. Naye nga ate nga bw'olowooza ennyo ng'ogenda okuzimba ennyumba ngizimbe sigizimbe egenda kutuuza kapito bwange biki. You should also be thinking about it before you buy a car. That's one thing I've come to realize. Why? Because buying a car might become one of your worst nightmares. Kati kankubulire. Someone was asking me yesterday. I have 15 million and I want to buy an SUV. I'm a tall dude, and he sent me pictures of an ML. But of course he was open to suggestions, and I told him what I would tell anyone. Yes, good morning, Martha. Buying a car should not depend solely on what you want and the amount of money you have. It should also depend on facts. Some of the facts you'll have them on your fingertips, some of them you'll have to research. The ML, olabe moroka eyo Mercedes-Benz ML, n'abagagga abavunduzi balemerera. Okitegeera nga alina ssente naye n'atuuka emmoroka n'agivaako n'agamba nze ngivuddeko njirese. Okitegeera. So it's a fact ML esobola okukulema ne bw'oba ng'olina ssente empitirivu. The same thing happens to the Nissan X-Trail. There is a time I saw, of course that was some time back, I saw an MP nga Nissan X-Trail emulemi okuzza ku kkubo. So you can imagine an MP decides nti X-Trail eganye kanvuge Land Cruiser. Okitegeera. So just know that there are certain cars that you don't just buy simply because of the love of it. Okitegeera. Basically all cars you should not buy any car because you simply want it. Okitegeera. Otherwise, that's why normally I tell people, bw'obojja okugula emmoroka, don't say njagala Ractis oba njagala Primo. I've told you before of a follower of mine yajjanga zogula emmoroka. He came from the west, and he had 10 million, but he had a lot of rules. He said, I have 10 million, but I don't drive Vitz. Okay, I don't drive those small cars. I don't drive Paso because, well, I'm going to be MP in 2026. But at 10 million, guys, I tell you, yes, it's money. But at 10 million right now, ukufuna motoka. Or you know kubanga teweronda nnyo nogamba, probably nogamba, I want a VVTi engine. Okitegeera. But tosobola kujja with your 10 million nogamba nze njagala kutandikira mu wish kwambuka. I want an 8-seater, because you might not get an 8-seater kujjako ng'ofunye Ipsamu oba picnic oba Noah ate nga ne Noah oba ogenda kufunanga nkadde. Okitegeera. So it's important that at least we here for ababeera ku channel that tubeera abantu abali a little enlightened. Okay, so I want us to talk about what we should think about before we buy a car. And these are things that normally someone will tell you, biveeko ebyo naawe biveeko oyakulimba. But these are things I've come to think about myself. And the time that I remember one of us here asked me, I think it was Lucius Yambu's Arthur, emyaka gy'ovugidde emmoroka lwaki okyavuga emmoroka etasukka million 10. And these are things that I normally think about. And and of course the people that are, hey boys, wake up, hey Aban, wake up and wake Nana, hey. So Ipsam. yeah, I make reference to Ipsam a lot. I make reference to Ipsam a lot because, well, it's one of the cars you can get at an affordable price, and yet it will be very reliable still. So you guys, these are things that I've come to think about, and when you talk to many people that have been driving for some time as well, normally boba akagula moroka yesoka ebe yokubiri yinza obutabitegeera bino ebintu obanga tonna bakula nnyo nga tonnafuna nnyo buvunanyizibwa. Yeah. Before you go. Yeah. So so these are things that you need to think about, and the first one will look like a joke. It will look like a joke.
Morning, Mama.
Hey, but Aban, you did not tell me morning. So
Morning, Daddy.
hi, morning. So this is one thing. This is the first thing. It looks as if it's very trivial, katono nyoe, but it's very important for us to always think about it before we buy a car. One, can you fuel this car for 365 days if you had to use the car? Are you sure you can fuel it for 365 days? At campus, I used to have a car, and I don't know how I survived with that car because I didn't have money for fuel. But I survived somehow for 3 years. For 3 years, I drove that car every day, by the way, for 3 years, because I bought that car in my first year, and I would drive every day to campus, and I would drive back home. I'm still wondering how I managed to keep that car on the road. It was a Chibina. That's why normally when I tell you if you're going to buy a budget car, buy a Chibina. It's actually now today as we speak, because I was in the market on Saturday, Chibina is the cheapest car on the market. Chibina. Even Chikumi is not as cheap. You get, that's why we had to buy a Corsa at 5 million, because all the Corsas that were cheaper than that were not so good, and yet the Chibina kinda consumes a little fuel, so Corsa kaba kanywa better. And then this Corsa that we found was in very, I would say not perfect, but in very good condition. It was a buy and drive. The only challenge we found that the transfer process was a little long, but the person is going to work with my friend here, Yaguze, and they'll do the transfer together. So I think today they are going for inspection to URA by inspecting Emoroka, and then they proceed. Probably by the end of the week. Who told you to come with the toothbrush? Put it in there. So and then they'll finish the transfer probably by the end of this week or next week. But just a mania going. Yeah. So but one thing you need to know is if you cannot fuel a car for 365 days and go over the way to go jikozesa ngenda kwezimo jaji parking because amafuta gakubuze, leave the car. Sikulemesa. And I know the channel is for the love of cars. Okay? The channel is for the love of cars. It means I should be encouraging you to buy cars. Probably. Come Arthur, come help me inspect this car nangu mpe yaka sente. Then ugambe jango take tracking device ira mfune sente. Onga jango ntele mko alarm ira mfune sente. Kulemero ngambe Arthur, you want to sell this car ira mfune sente. You get it? But my goal is to not simply make money from you. My goal is to actually advise you. If you cannot fuel that car, please Jason your way. Martha Agambi, that the moment you buy a car, God provides the fuel. Hey, God has a fuel pump, or God owns the shell. People. And I think that's something that we here in Africa have gotten used to. That like God will do everything for you. But things don't work that way for cars. That's why you find that emoroka nyingi zili mu parking. Ngoli yagula akamoto kanga amanyi byangu. But somehow ne yesanga ngemoroka 3/4 of the year bera mu parking. Urban. That's bad. Ngemoroka 3/4 of the year ebera mu parking. Ntikuba izinnaku abata sola gisaamu mafuta. Irange izinnaku alinya boda. The moment a border is cheaper than you driving your car, it means you're not supposed to have that car. Because for me, a border is more expensive than driving my car. The only reason I don't take the car is because parking tedi iyo. But owa border agenda kunsaba 10,000 nze muruke yange tizinywawo mba mpulira bubi okitegeera. So I'm telling you this, the moment, hi Joanne, the moment you taking a border is cheaper than driving your car to you, then you probably don't need a car. So if you cannot fuel a car for 365 days, if you really need it, because why I'm saying need it is that if you need to drive your car to work every day of the year, hi Patrick, but you find that even when you need the car, even when you need to drive the car for that time, yeah, you cannot, because you can't afford fuel. My brother, because no, even the job you're doing that doesn't give you enough money to fuel that car. And if you do a job that can't fuel your car, I don't know what to tell you. Normally, me, I have an invoice. I don't know if I have that thing here. I have an invoice. Aban, where is my thingy? My book. I have a what we call a payment voucher, by the way. We have no, there is a smaller one. We have a payment voucher for home. I have a payment voucher for me and the wife. And in that voucher, I keep it in the car. I don't know where it is now. Yeah, it's here. This is the payment voucher. Now, you don't have to do this though. But this voucher, you see, in this voucher, I record how much I've spent on the car. I record how much I've spent on fuel. I basically record all the expenses. Why am I doing that? Is because the expense I spent, how much I spend this year determines what jobs I'm doing next year. So if, for example, I'm going to be doing business next year, it has to be able to fuel my car. It has to be able to keep my car on the road. It has to be able to take care of the needs. So I calculate, if one job can't, then how many other jobs do I have to do to fill that void? Because for starters, I've made it out for myself that it's safer for me to drive. And indeed, it's safer in Uganda for you to drive. Yesterday I was talking to an old man and he told me that and by the for me, when I'm walking, I'm going from Bat Valley to town to buy something, I walk, I use shortcuts. What are in your motor? What are in your border, and I get to where I'm going. No, stop it. And I buy what I buy, then I go back to office. Okay. Some people buy a car to improve social status. So car is for showing a better self-value. But do you have that value, Kenneth? That's the question. Because if you buy a car for social status, ate no bango jideka mu parking, katate status chijobolaga. Ontegera Kenny. It's that if I'm trying to show people that I'm high class, I can afford a car, I should be able to actually afford that car. But if I'm not going to be able to fuel that car for 3/4 of the year, then what status am I actually showing? Because for me to buy a car at 12 million, mu parking for half of the year. I told you of a friend of mine, yaja na parking in Moroka mu parking, na alinya taxi ogende Masaka. It doesn't make sense. Why am I buying a car at 25 million? For me to go to the village, I'm taking a taxi. For me, I drive everywhere. Places I don't go to, it means I don't need to go there. That's why I've made it on weekend. It's not profitable for me to go to town. This friend of mine that we bought a car together on Saturday, I told him on Saturday, but I don't come to town. For me to come to town, so take a cent mafuta izinzije waka kusimu era nazitekako. That's the only time I drove. And before I got to him, I made sure to go see other cars. And when I got to him, I actually reported ndabi ene moroka neno na isimu nditsoke tulabe eziddako. Okitegeera. You bought for me these also. You take them. So, so that's how we went and actually got the final car we got to. But what I'm telling you is that if you cannot fuel the car to work, jiveko, because ekuko stinga, every day a car is packed, the value goes down. Every day a car is packed, the value goes down, and you don't want the value of your car to go down ngate tojivuga kubebe kusara busazi. So that's why I'm telling you that if you can't fuel the car, why I'm saying 365 days is because some days what ogenza ku mulimu ogenda mukatalo ku shoppinga, what ogenza mukatalo ku shoppinga ogenda kulaba ku mama o, what ogenza kulaba ku mama ogenda okushayira ku mikwano jo. Kakati, if you have a car and for you to go visit your mother then you have to take a taxi, why do you have that car? So don't buy it if you cannot fuel it. That's number one. Number two, if you cannot maintain the car properly, like today, I was starting this car and I felt the self starter. Jebaita self. Itandise okusikatira kwa. Okitegeera. Now I know I need to take that self starter for fixing. Okitegeera. But if bwetuka self starter yo nefa, ngemoroko inagireka waka. Emoroka jiveeko tojigula. Why? Chitegeza, you don't really need the car, because for me I have to fix that self starter, because if I don't fix that self starter tomorrow I may not move. Ochitegera kyenkugamba, I need the car to move from home to work, from work to home. Let me show you something. You see that car? It's full tank. It's not in full tank because I have a lot of money. No, it's not in full tank because I'm rich. It's in full tank because I made it out for myself that whether I buy the full tank or not, amafuta agogenguze. You see the full tank there? Whether I like it or not, I will use that fuel. So instead of me buying 20k, 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 and I keep going to a petrol station every morning, I put that fuel at once and I use it a week. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Every time someone agule moro kanata nkoteka ngamo mutwalo, he's not sure if he will need the car tomorrow. Okitegeera. And I'm sure for you guys that are in Dubai, you have seen people that have cars. Ateka mama mafuta manji omulundi gumu. Na you save time. Nebata kubanza lwesa ateka mfull tank omwana yankube mpeo nanywa mafuta geta na antira mu esatu. Sikyabisobola. Na akatara kalibwe kabaka mafuta manange empulira bubi. Omutima teguba settled mbamanye sawa yene moroka egenda kunsikako. Because it's save distance intono. Let's go back to number 2. If you cannot maintain the car, nga senge moroka etulo omupira ojesonyiwa, you don't need the car. Jiveeko tojigula. Okitegeera. It's very important that you take note of these things. And look at all the people around you. If you come back to Uganda, look at the people abareke moroka mu garage. Abatajeetaga. I know someone, they only drive the car on weekend. But they bought a car about 20 million. Now, I don't have another phone, but let me try to do the math for you here. 20 million, but the car is depreciating. Okay, see you. Nana. Yeah, fuel, petrol evaporates because that's how petrol is made. In a basin, leave it for an hour, jakusanga akaze. So petrol evaporates. But for you to keep that from happening in your car, that's why you put a half tank, quarter tank, kati emoroke yange labikange saving, huh? But even some of the fuel, but that's mine.
Yes, but I'm going to give you.
So some of the abantu abanywa amafuta ga mutwale ebicho obula abaga emoroke enywa nnyo eba tenywa nnyo naye amafuta agamu ge evaporating ngira bwagambi. Why? What was one of the things that leads that fuel to evaporate is that fuel pump we bateri mafuta munda moli ebe ebuguma bwebe ebuguma amafuta oboga tadde mu heat. So that leads it to evaporate. Veyo. Let me tell you, omuntu oyo bwaba avuga emoroka on weekend atagivuga Sunday roka. I'm telling you this, asoro pangise moroka eri mu condition yemu ku mitwalo 10 olunaku. Kitegeeza ziba mu weekends meka mu mwaka. There are 4 days abagikozesa moroka emirundi ena omwezi je mitwalo 4. Okitegeera kitegeeza in 10 months je mitwalo 4 in 10 months je mitwalo 4 in 10 months the million nya ne mitwalo 8 naye kwezo sente apangisako emmotoka, but he does not maintain the car. Bwefa bamuleetera endala ateekamu buteesi mafuta agamujjaano mutwala walaga. By the way, that person drives the car only for charge. Naye nga yagigula miliyoni ameka? Naye bwe yagigula miliyoni 2 mwogwo omwaka mwennyini mwe yagigulira miliyoni 2, emmotoka neesala miliyoni 2 nga bamuwa 18. Yakagivuga emyaka 2 naye essaawa ne bamuwa 13. Kitegeeza emmotoka yo nga yo tobaze maintenance, naye nga yo nga yo esaze miliyoni 7 in a space of 2 years. But apart from okusala miliyoni 7 gattakoza akanikisiza, because abadde agikanika. I know this person. Abadde agikanika literally nga agiteekamu ssente, yagigulira battery, yagigulira emipiira emipya, you get, because yagijja mu bondi emipiira nga mikadde n'ateekako emipiira emipya, battery naye kaddiwa n'ateekako battery empya, erina lwe yamutawanya n'agisamu miliyoni ng'emu n'ekitundu. Okitegeera? So in a way emmotoka emusaze more than 7 million, tulale more than 9 million in a space of 2 years. Okitegeera? Ate nga guno omwaka bwe guggwako next bagenda bamuwa miliyoni nga 12. Okitegeera? So let me take you back to the road. So you guys, it's important that we do the math. Emmotoka bwe batasobola kugikanika gireke ejja kumenyera bwereere, because kati, and one of the reasons by the way this person doesn't drive the car every day is because amafuta ga bbeeyi. Kyenda bagambye bwe emmotoka tosobola gifuelinga every day, giveeko togigula. You are better off not buying a car and you rent a car buli lunaku lw'ogyetaaga, because you can rent a car at 100,000 nga nnungi nnyo. You can rent a UBB Spacio noevuga n'ogenda mu kyalo n'ojooga n'okoma okwegamba nga mu kyalo buli lw'ogenda ogenda na mmoloka ndala ate nga mpya ne bagamba mwana ono yakikola ki, naye nga tewagula mmoloka ng'oli mugezi wa city. So for the guys that are planning to buy cars naye nga togyetaaga buli lunaku nga amafuta gajja kumenya, nga muli owulira amafuta gajja kumenya, gireke. Obanga owulira senga emmoloka enaaba etambula nefa gearbox eyo ng'ogyesonyiwa ng'ogipaakinga, emmoloka gireke togigula. Okitegeera? Okitegedde? Because let me tell you what happens. Companies like Airtel and MTN no longer buy cars, they lease. They go to a company like Toyota and they crack a deal until Toyota leases them their car for a specific amount every year. In return, the company does not maintain the car. Okay? The company does not maintain the car, but the person that is leasing them the car maintains the car. All this company that leases like MTN, all it does is put fuel in the car. And that's a better arrangement for MTN, because that way it has mitigated the depreciation of the car. Okay? So able to gain a car. And that's what I'm telling you. Bobanga, you're not going to be driving this car every day. Leave it. You can rent when you're going for a party. You can rent when you're going to the village. You rent a car. Togenda kujoza kuba omupangisizo mwadde emitwalo gyo 10 era nga bw'ogiresa obeddugala ng'ogimuddiza. Morning David. But sometimes getting a person to rent you a car. No, but companies that rent cars, it's just that we don't know, we don't want to know where they are. But there are companies that rent a car. I think I should get one day and visit one of these companies and they tell us their conditions. But there are companies that rent cars. Their business is to buy and rent you a car. You go, drive yourself, bring it back. That's their business. They are there. And there are companies that can even give you a candid driver. So that you don't even get the stress of atekati mvuze, atekati nkozechi. Nga kusente zebakuwako. Zobawa. They even give you a driver. So that renting a car should not be that hard in Kampala these days. We have been modernized. So it's not really hard to get someone to rent you a car. Just walk to your family member. Mga njara kumpangisa kunimoroka. Mga nyine emitwalo 10 olwaleero. Trust me. 3/4 of your family members are buying nemoroka bajjaji kupangisa. So we are in a jam. That's why I'm turning the camera to me. When we move, I'll put you back to the road. If you can't buy fuel for the okusinga ogule moroka ogiparking, sente ze zitte. Trust me, I will tell you that I would advise you to put your money in your business oterekewo million nga 2 za kupangisa motoka whenever you need to rent a car oba za kuyita Uber okitegeera. I can tell you this, that how many times do you actually get an emergency okitegeera nga weta in a month mirundi emeka gyogamba emotoka leero nemesezza okukola kino, and you'll calculate n'olabanga there are very few times that you need a car in a month. So if you can't fuel a car, if you can't maintain it properly, ngejja kutawanyo maintaininga, brakes zijja kugwako otandika okwekkaanya, battery ejja kufa, ugambe ngula yaki, don't buy a car okitegeera. Ogenda kweswaza n'okweswaza wo parking emotoka bajja kuba bakwogerako omuvubuka oyo emotoka yagula yaki tagisobola, your family ekwogereko omuvubuka yipanka emotoka tagisobola. I'll tell you a story. There is a time, of course me I could maintain the car because nemoka je nagula yali tefa, kibina yali tefa banange kibina tefa, yeah, but of course you have to buy it in good condition. Like me, I bought it from my auntie, era naye yali aje parking zo mwaka mulamba nga atagivuga, so yaji Christmas bwajija ku Christmas nganze embeera nayo nengamba naye emotoka eno ngitandise n'okubaako obuntu bwekyankane nga sijja mukanikira muga kankwe sente. So that's how I bought my first car. So we have moved. Don't buy a car if you cannot maintain it, because bademba bunyumizaka story that I have cousins of mine and they have known me since I bought my first car. So earlier last year when I was moving from Kasangati, I got a little close to them and I was talking to them, and one of them told me tibatulanga family banjogerako nayo omuvubuka yepansi aguze motoka tajja gisobola, apparently because in the family for them they didn't have a car. Even their father, who was, I think by the time I bought my first car he was in his late 40s, he didn't have a car, but he was a driver. He was driving people. So for them I was a very stupid dude to buy a car, because for them it seemed like njajivuga emyezi esatu ngitunde ngiganye. And she was telling me that 10 years down the road, after you're still driving and you're driving different cars every time, tetukusanga nkongo oli kubigere okitegeera. So let me tell you, you may think that people don't talk. Kati there is someone that said that some people buy for status. If you're going to buy a car for status ekulemereri, you'll actually beat deep in your status. Ekifo abantu okurespecting ate bajja kwogerako, your brand will just go down the drain. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So instead of buying a car for status, when you can't actually maintain the status, I would recommend that you don't buy the car at all, because ogenda kuona nabo nyirinya lyo future di improving. So if you think, that's why I was telling my brother there that wanted to buy an ML, if you have some money for maintenance, buy the ML. But then I gave him alternatives which were all Toyota. Now normally someone tells me, why are you only talking about Toyotas? Because Toyota motoka ya munaku okitegeera, Toyotas are very easy to manage. Mechanics know them, the spare is available. So I told him to either buy a RAV4, Harrier, Kluger, Alphard, Nua. You get, because those cars are very easy to manage. But I also told him that instead of buying a RAV4 that is 2.0cc, buy a Harrier of 2.2cc, since you wanted to buy an ML. The fuel consumption to judge you okitegeera. Okujja kungo ofunye karafu ngaka kava tuyitako because ko kabaka VVTI okitegeera. So we have so far covered two reasons. If you cannot fuel a car 365 days a year, ngogenda gikumira parking tojigula, you're killing money. Two, if you cannot maintain a kanga battery we inethe moro kogenda jiparking ojiveko, don't buy it. You're still killing money. Okay? Number 3, and this is very important, people normally ignore it, but I don't want to ignore it. If you cannot replace your car within 3 months, I'm saying 3 months because it's only human to not have that much money ready in a week. If you cannot replace your car in a period of 3 months, if it got a very big problem, like a very bad accident, and you cannot replace it within a period of 3 months, don't buy that car, buy a cheaper car. Let me give you an example. Whatever Lexus say, that Lexus is probably like 23 to 25 million. Where you are, depending on where, you can even buy it 30, depending on where you buy it. But if you can buy that car now, and it gets a problem and you cannot replace it with that very car, don't buy that car. Because that means you don't have 5 million lying around. So why are you buying a car at 25 million? I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Only buy a car at 25 million if after buying that car of 25 million, you can afford to buy another car at 25 million in like 3 months. Because normally that means so you guys, what I'm saying, I'm trying to be a little realistic with you. So not very realistic. Normally, actually, Lucius Weyambuza, why I still drive a car that is not expensive. I can replace my car in 2 months, latest. But normally, normally I can replace my car within a week. That doesn't, it's not that I have a lot of money, but if my car was, if I needed to replace this car, I could replace it within a week. That's what I'm telling you. That if you have a car at 10 million, and the sole reason, for example, one of our friends said to improve status, the sole reason was to improve status, make sure you can buy another car of 10 million in a period of 3 months in case that car of 10 million got a problem. If you can't, go buy a car of 5 million, keep the 5 million aside for emergencies. Because normally, if you can't replace that car very quickly, it means senga gearbox a million enye kuba million nyaze jakutwalire bango okufuna. If the engine of like 3.5, for example, like a car of mine, 3.5, I can get an engine. If the engine blows, it means you'll not be able to buy an engine to put it back in there. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. This is a simple math, but it's also us trying to be a little realistic. That don't buy a car that you cannot afford, because affording is twofold. Affording to buy it now is okay, but can you afford to buy it again? Can you afford to buy it again in case you lost that one? Have you seen people that had a car probably ngaina primo ne bagimubako bwe bagimubako n'amala emyaka ebiri nga talina mmotoka nadda ku kigere? Yes, Dennis, good morning Joe, good morning Joel, good morning David. Yeah, have you seen that there are people that lose a car and they spend 3 years without ever driving again? Some people don't drive ever again until they die. That means that person was not ready to buy a car. So normally I tell people, that's why I tell you guys, you want to buy a car at 10 million, buy a car at 8. What's the gate? Because if you buy a car at 8, chitegeza, you can use the 2 million okufixinga kubigwa bitalaze. Okitegeera nti emoroka ogiguze 8 million. Because let me tell you, nemoroka eza bondi zifa engine, nemoroka eza bondi zifa gearbox. Ontegeera, emoroka eza bondi zifa engine, emoroka eza bondi zifa gearbox. Okitegeera. So it's important for us to understand that bwogula emoroka eya bondi togiguze kuva mu ggulu era ekyasobola okufa. So why are you getting all the money on the account to buy a car? In that money, you need to keep some money aside for emergencies. For example, if a car got an accident, this is the possibility you can get. You can get that accident car from the police. You sell it to kubana abateme abibwa yise, like 2 to 3 million. Nebachigula. Then you get the kamaneke watereka. n'okagatako and you buy a car. This is an example. If my car got a terrible accident and I realize that someone just I can sell this car kubatemi abebwa ayise bwe bagigula ne bagigula million nga 3 mu mbeera gye yebamu, then I only need like to get like 3 more million to go and pay for a car, and then the next week I'll be driving. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So normally ekitutawanya is the fact that we have not added math. We have so far covered 3 reasons. One, if you cannot fuel a car 365 days a year, don't buy that car. 2, if you cannot maintain that car properly in good condition, battery, food day, can you parking and you park it 5 months because of a battery, don't buy a car. And we all know someone that has done that. Okay? Yes, and Jay-Z is correct. If you can't afford it twice in cash, don't buy it. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. But in Uganda, it would be it's a little special. Jay-Z is speaking for himself because he buys Bentleys and all, but majority of the people in the world, if you see new cars on the road today, 80% of those cars bachazibanja. I know like 3 people in my circles that have bought a car at 35 million ngabakasasura kabiri. Majority of them. But me, I would not make such a decision. I would not go there. Why I wouldn't go there is because for me it doesn't make sense. Now, it totally doesn't make sense. Before even I validate it with anything, I don't need to validate it. It doesn't make sense for me to borrow a car 35 million. If it gets an accident, then what happens? Can I get 35 million to get the same car? Because it means you're simply lifting your status before it's time. You're getting a new car when you should not be getting a new car. If you're going to borrow, it means you're getting a new car when you should not be getting a new car. It's important for you to note that. So if you can't fuel a car every day or every working day, it means you cannot afford a car basically. So leave it alone. If maintaining a car will be a headache for you, if for example the gearbox dies, for you to fix it, that's normal. But for you to say katuji parking and then if you're going to get to that situation where you have to park a car because well the maintenance is too hard, don't buy a car. That's why I tell guys abagenda ogule moroka nga Sienta, nga Ractis, nga Fielder, those cars, especially the new models of Fielders, the old models have automatics, but the cars that have CVT gearbox, don't service that gearbox. Okuja kwange kusabye service. The gearbox alone will cost you 4 million. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Of course, even my gearbox here, like that. If omulabi wa boda ebitara bimukutte na ya chajja ayagale muruke yangi yebeyimirira na boda guide. If you have a brother that does boda, take him to driving school. I'm telling you this. So you guys, it's important that we take note that buy a car that you can maintain properly. That's why I tell people, don't buy a Golf, don't buy a Benz. Okuja kungo inaka sente. Oba if it's your second car, ngebera we wakaya emergencies. Because as a moro kazife ebintu ne bakigambe emitwalo 7. Na Toyota wali kiguze emitwalo 12. You get what I'm saying? And I understand that whether we like it or not, majority of Ugandans tuchetetenkanya. Ate you realize that nabalinga abatetetenkanya abasigaddewo like 50% of them omulimu gwe guggwawo adda mu mbeera yaffe y'okwetetenkanya. Okitegeera kitegeeza 50% of those guys embeera bwetabuka emmotoka gy'asooka okutunda naddako ku booda. Okitegeera because abatamanyi na ngeri yakutetenkanya bulamu. Like I've told you guys before, nze embeera bwensala kontunde n'emmotoka n'engula kibina. Because Chivina is like the cheapest car you can buy in the market, even as we speak today. The information I have is from Saturday. Talking at 3 million, we would have seen like 20 Chivinas. But the person did not want a Chivina. He wanted a fuel-efficient car. That's why we're not looking at them. But everyone will tell you, Chivina Gemmanuan, Chivina Gemmanuan. Why don't you get sent a cut? So, And if I drove a Chivina today, my status would not go down. Because for me, I drive a car to get to work. I don't drive a car for status. There is no day I've driven a car and someone says, it's just a car. So for me, I make sure that until I'm that rich, I'll not buy a car that I cannot afford to replace. So if Lucius is watching this, that's one reason for you to understand. So we have talked about if you cannot fuel a car to work every day, yes on your way. Because if you cannot maintain a car, keep it on the road all the time. It's cheaper to just rent a car. Because banks are from as low as 100,000. Okay, if you cannot replace that car, nzemba wade space ya 3 months. Nti moroka yo bajibye. Boba tosobola kugula moroka ndala in 3 months giveeko. Jeso nyiwe. Bivire ko ddala linya tax. Reason number 4. Now this goes to the people that are buying new cars from the bond. If you cannot buy comprehensive insurance for your car, don't go to the bond. Mutujie kona mu copy. Kati, you go to the bond, you buy a car. Ngetara limu ya mitwalo nkaga. Where comprehensive insurance will easily give you that money to replace that light. Ate okule moroka empya milioni ana. Ojiteke ko third party. But owaboda agwe mutala nga ya mitwalo nsanvu atoji parking olokuba tolina mitwalo nsanvu. When you could have easily bought comprehensive insurance at 1 million, ngabasobola kuwetala ero buli webalibba buli webaligwamu insurance ebe kuwetala ero as many as 10 times in a year. Because comprehensive insurance, I've told you, comprehensive insurance owaboda ne bwakukulubula nadduka, you go and tell them moloka yange bagikulubudde mumpe sente ngenenji fuire, they will give you money. That's where comprehensive insurance is good. And I know that if you can buy a new car, go and put comprehensive insurance at a CIA bay. You see that space your UBB, it's around 15 to 18 million. You'd be paying about 800 to 1 million shillings of comprehensive insurance. But let me tell you this. Emoroka yonne bwetomera osobola bagamba mumanyi si kyajagala mu percent, and they'll give you 80% of the value of your car, and they'll keep that salvage. Bone balabe ekyo kikolera. You go and buy another car, or probably they'll take you to the bond ne bagamba londe moroka kweno neno gyotwala. So if you're going to buy a new car and you cannot afford comprehensive insurance, emoroka gireke gula ku moroka enkadde or saving akasente ko. Don't spend 30 million buying a car that you cannot give, because emoroka yempya n'abagibba bangi. Kati yo space yogiraba ababbi bazaagala. Kati bagibbe ogikuze milioni katugeze 19 bagibbe oyina milioni 19 ezigule emoroka eyendala. But if you have comprehensive insurance put on that car, it means that if that car was stolen today, you'd go to police, file a report, let the investigation go on, go to insurance, tell them my car was stolen, and they'll give you 18 million or 17 million or 16 million, and you can go buy another car. You get it? For people, I'm actually, even me, Chivina is Toyota Corona. It's called the 190. Corona, if you're going to check on Google, you say Corona 190. After now I understand why my former boss in Uganda used to drive a Land Cruiser on a daily basis, and he only used his Range Rover Sport when he's meeting clients. Exactly. Because he knew the Range Rover lifted his status, and he doesn't need to lift his status every day. Because you're lifting your status for who? For your people on Charo. So that they know what? They do what? So that they saw him Saja Mugaga, and then what? So, it's important for you to understand that what the car I'm driving, how much is it in value? If it's stolen today, can I replace it? If you cannot replace it, go buy comprehensive insurance, because comprehensive insurance covers even that. You see, we are under a tree. If that tree fell on a car that is comprehensively insured, the insurance company will pay that person. Katinzo wa third party, banyina kwetetenkanya kufuna moroka ndala. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. There are so many advantages to comprehensive insurance. That's why I'm saying, if you're buying a new car, nga sente zogenda ogulamu moroka yempya, buzigwa otosola gula ko comprehensive insurance jiveeko. Tuleke kwewanika. Ochitegera, I know a friend of mine who says, anze athabawe nzobo motoka nkyabuvuga sibuvuga. But I know that once a month he calls me athampereza yes at mwana ampedde. Why are you buying a car at 40 million? Nga once a month if buli mwezi obako period jobera nga toyina sente. Buy a car at 15 million. Then keep the other money. Zikubezeho mu mbeera enzibu. I don't know if you guys get what I'm saying. Okitegeera. It's important that we be realistic. Tuleme kwagala kwewanika bwewanisi. Borders are expensive. Tell you, by the way, guys, let me tell you this. Me, I learned the hard way. People don't care what car you drive. They, of course, buying the jogger kaunga. Hi, yare se moroki yakabi. Hi, yare se moroki yakabi. Hi, yare se kanamba. But after that, nobody really cares. You get what I'm saying? Because the yamba gwena family you. And I think what Joan says it's important. If you actually think a car lifts your status, buy a car for daily driving, and after that daily driving car, then you can buy the status lifting car. Like I've told you guys, Nzenjagara Mercedes Benz. I want a Mercedes Benz. I want to drive a Mercedes Benz. Njagara wagazi. But I'm not going to buy it as a first car. It's going to be a second car. But on the days that I don't want to drive a Corolla, I drive the love of my life, Mercedes Benz. If I'm going to a meeting, mfunye chidiru cha milioni nga 15, I'm going to meet these people to concretize the deal. I wash my Mercedes Benz and I drive that to that meeting. Maybe no bienvuge moro kamino, I'm doing my life, I'm going to my car office at Bat Valley. Vuga kamoro kaka nka Corolla, nekakubagana it's okay, kasaka kola SC enfufute enkuba. Nenkuba webe tonya sisimula kundabirwa mna kisimula tekamuka SC. You get it? But even if I didn't have SC, then I was a Corolla car. Being humble takes you a long way. So the reasons we have covered, if you cannot fuel your car every day, every working day, if you cannot maintain the car properly, parking we have said that if you cannot replace that car, for whatever reason, that's why government officials, we have a parliament, we have government offices, obasanga bavuga primo, land cruiser bazivako, because tasobola kugula motoka million 12 naji maintaining ate naji replacing no kuji maintaining of maintaining. You remember Catherine kusasira emoroka ya bamu ya land cruiser agivugamu emyezi gijo ne mulema oku maintaining ne tula ne emipira bwe yagira nagitunda naddayo mu Subaru. You guys, mathematics should be part of you. If you cannot replace a kaji vehicle, so that's the 4 reasons we have covered. We have covered those 4 reasons. They are very, very, very important for you to note. Before you buy a car, make sure that those things are covered. Me, I can fuel my car every day. As a matter of fact, zengenda kumafuta nenteka ne bajjuzaawo. Okitegeera. Ne bajjuzaawo ne manya nti oyo week ngenda kutambula nga sitawanyiziddwa. I can move everywhere. Okitegeera. Nemanya nti kati moroka ange self started and so kuchankala namu. I know where to go. I'm going to work for a few hours at work, and then I'll go to that person that I Tazan. Then I'll drive to the place where the self starter is repaired from. They'll repair it, and I'll not nature on Chimazi. Then I'll know it has. Yesterday I replaced brakes. Is a Mabeka. Now this is replacing anger. So for me, fixing my car is not a pain in the ass because I need my car every day and I can maintain it properly. Okitegeera chovola bantu sinagenda kugula emoroka nga because emoroka jinegomba muramu C class Mercedes Benz sorry asimanya zani ezo sizegomba msimanya zo BMW X5 I don't njagala ka Mercedes Benz kankalika C class. But I think you guys, you see, when I tell you don't buy a car that is rare on the road, okay, you can buy it as a second car. We have driven from Chisasi up to here. Have you guys seen any Mercedes Benz anywhere? We have not seen a Mercedes Benz. We have been seeing Toyota. Have you seen a Volkswagen anywhere? We have been seeing Toyota. We have only seen one BMW, by the way. And it's a big BMW. It's probably a second car. Those who care are always those who don't. Exactly, Samuel. The people who care what car you drive don't matter in your life. The people who care, characters now, they don't matter. The people that matter in your life don't care what car you drive. For them, probably what matters is that you're safe. Totamuli de kuboda kali. Vuge motoka yo kubanka chawa, at least you're safer. Enkuba tekubye kali. Au kale ko. The people that don't care which car you drive actually are the ones that matter in your life. We have only seen this X5. Iyo kaje twala bendoze moroka etali Toyota. Okuva ekisasi. What does that tell you? That tells you, first of all, that these cars consume a lot of fuel. That's reason number one. Number two, they are very hard to maintain. Okay? Is the moroka za bei yoku maintaininga. Okay? Number three, they are hard to replace. Boboji gula ya bei, na yate boboji tunda ya raisi. Ochitegera. Because actually when you look on the road, even the Subarus are few. Golf yiyo tujidabi, by the way. That's one Golf that we have seen. Na ye, it had them double indicator food. So yiyo, those are doubles. Umanye bisere yimunge bali mujikebera. I've even stopped to show you. Ochiraba. Ye Golf jetulabye ku kubo, it's a Golf 5. And the only Golf we have seen on the road is dead. But guys, when I tell you don't buy a Golf, the only Golf we have seen from Chisasi at a food day. I don't know if now you get me. Your Golf yokaje twala bi at a food day. Atenga ampia, by the way. In number ya yo ampia ndo za mujirabi. So you guys, ate Chibina yiri UAA checha imiri de banange moroke. Chibina is a fighter, guys. For the guys that have a small budget, if you're going to buy a car, ngato tosobora kugura primo Chibina moto kanwanyi. It's a fighter. So we have seen all the other cars that we have seen on the road are Toyotas, and it's not by accident. So for reasons, if you can't afford fuel every day, emoroka jiveko. If you cannot afford to keep the car on the road maintenance wise, emoroka jiveko. If you cannot afford to replace that car in a shortest period of time, emoroka jiveko. Kati emoroka endaje tulabye eriro ya yiyo Mercedes Benz C class, emoroka yange jenja gari yeyo. Yemoroka yange endala je nkoze eki. Yemoroka endala je tulabye etali Toyota. Yemoroka endala je tulabye etali Toyota. Ate yo yeri C class Kasim je yatugama in his interview. It's not it's a 1998 model. Very easy to maintain. Actually they say that your Benz ojiraba C class ye primo ya Mercedes Benz. So if you want to buy a primo, nengo yagala jigula mu kika kirala oba Mercedes Benz, just buy the C class. It's very easy to maintain. Pozi nuwa yino endala je tulabye fudde na yatete fudde mupira gutudde butuzi. That's a very normal thing. It can happen to anyone. So we have seen a lot of Toyotas, but we have not seen even the oldest Toyota being stuck on the road. Ne Golf mpya tujirabye ngegani. Okitegeera banoonya ekijigize nayo tebakiraba. Era agenda spending emitwalo 2 oba 3 okufixinga akantu. So you guys, especially bwoba okyali hustler nganze, is emmotoka tugira tuzeesonyiwa. Kale at least ogulako ku Mercedes Benz. Naye Golf eyo. So you guys, I want to wind up. I've given you my reasons. You need to take note of those things, okay? If you can't fuel a car every day, it means you don't need it every day. If you can't maintain a car and keep it on the road every day, if you cannot replace that car within a period of 3 months, bobango bado yakala kula mwaka milioni 10 na inga bobo kuba mwaka kafananyi, you cannot buy that same car senga bajibba tosobola jigula myezi 3 era je esonyiwe gula emoroka eri cheaper tereka sente. That's why normally I tell you guys, tewali isoga lwachi ogule emoroka ya bond ngosobola ogule emoroka enkadde ngeri in better condition. Okitegeera, like you guys, me I drive 85 kilometers a day. And Micah never dies on the road. Tefirangako ku kkubo. Tefirangako ku kkubo. Okitegeera? Enjivuga enzijineze kubagana ebipapula. Okitegeera? Emmoroka empya kyensingako kiri kimu nti eba tekubagana bipapula. Because ebintu ebikubagana mu mmoroka enkadde, I want you to take note. Emmoroka enkadde tekubagana nti nkadde. Ekubagana one because ebipapula by'okunzigi bino, the door panels, baba babisumuluddeko emirundi mingi nga batereeza probably machine zendabirwamu. Okitegeera? Batereeza buno obusendabirwamu. So that's why buli bwe basumulula ekintu ku mmotoka tebakizaako nga bwe kyaliko. Kitegeeza it becomes loose. Kwe kubagana kuwulira mu mmotoka ezenkadde. Kyova n'emmotoka empya batekubagana. They have not unscrewed the things that baba bodo obwongo in a one way yakubawo ka U-turn. So you guys, emmoroka enkadde okubanga ekubagana tekitegeeza nti mbi. These door panels era bw'ofuna omuntu asobola okusiba door panels zino bulungi azisiba and yokka nerekera okubagana n'ogamba oba mpya. There are those guys that know how to fix these old cars. That's why you realize. Have you guys realized that tour companies still have UAJ tour vans? UAE. What they do is because they realize gearboxes and engines are the sole problem of these cars. They fix the engine, they fix the gearbox, and then they take this car to be fixed, the interior, the body, nebaji fixing and never some SUV ever deterimu or stegeira. I saw a mechanic on Saturday who is an idiot. He was telling me that the AC spoils the car engines. Okay, if it spoiled the engines, would the manufacturers put the AC system on the engine? If your engine gets spoiled because of AC, it means your engine was bad. The AC just helps you spoil the engine sooner. You get what I'm saying? So you probably should not be on the road. You should take the engine for overhauling. So you guys, you probably realize that tour companies have old cars. Baba nemoroka ngankade. You see that UAJ van? Eyemoroka ekola deliveries. Ojirabe likone kufuru kubutu. Eyemoroka ojisanga ngegenda paka Lugazi. Do you know why? The owner has realized it's not about the number plate. It's about the health. So ajitwala ne bagikola engine nebeera nnungi. Olaba kufuru emabega ku butu. That's a delivery truck. That car can go anywhere. Okitegeera? The only reason one should buy a new car is can afford to buy a new car. But don't buy a new car because you think old cars are bad. Okitegeera? Because nemoroka empya zifa. Let me tell you, if it was about old things, do you think we would have a president of 80 years being a president in Uganda? Young kids die every day. Ngate abantu abakulu bakyali balamu. So it's not about how new your car is, but it's about how healthy your car is and how much you know how to fix it. You get? So it's important that kata emoroka eri ku kkubo lyerimu nemoroka eza UBF naye nga ate yeri UAJ. Okitegeera? So let's take note of those things, and of course probably the final reason that you should consider before buying a car is that if you don't need the car for work, because an adult spends most of their days working. If there are 7 days in a week, we spend a minimum of 5 days working. Bobange moroka tojeetaga for work, don't buy it. Kati ono common sense. Okitegeera? Ono common sense. If I needed to drive a Mercedes Benz today, nganjagala give gamungendeko mu kyalo, I would go to Kasim, give him 100,000, nampa Benz nengenda mu kyalo. Nenkoma ngambuze Mercedes Benz naye nga sigiguze. Naye nga ate I've spent 100,000 on it. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. I spend 100,000, drive a Benz, take it back, drive my Corolla back home. Ate Kasim nyiza n'obutamuwa sente ne muwa Corolla yange ne mugamba ogira ovuga eyo mpa Benz. Okitegeera? But I give him money because I know nothing is free in life. So I'll give him the money. So you guys, it's important. Let me turn the camera back to me now. It's time for me to say bye. It's important that we realize that not everything you want in life you need. So if you don't need a car for work, don't buy a car. Okay? If the only reason you're buying a car is so that you can go to the village on Christmas, don't buy a car. Christmas period, you can rent a car. Nobody rents every day of December. You'll probably be spending about 3 million that Christmas. I think I spending because the more days you're taking the car for, the higher you're bargaining power. Because omugamba wano mbadde ngenda kuwa emitwalo 10 nga ngitwala buli lunaku, naye sigenda gitwala lunaku lumu, ngenda gitwala 30 days kati kankwe million emu. And just like that you have spent 1 million n'opangisa emmoloka ey'omulembe empya. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. You spend 1 million. You spend 1 million. Abai, can parking a cow. You spend 1 million and no forget Morokanga and Piaka number, which take it. But apart, by the way, for you guys that are Moroka, you need to know how to reverse park. Because parking is single worldwide. You reverse park. So a Moroka never kulika ngabona market yobwendiko. You need to know how to reverse park. Moka space akatono. Moroka no generator. No jinyiga ondoza mwabirabanga mu Fast and Furious James Bond. Nti you use the driving mirror and the side mirrors to park. Notakulubula muntu akuli maaso gwogenda ku parking amabega ne gwogenda ku parking amaaso. And just like that, so you guys, I have to go, but take home or take to work should be that if you want to buy a car but you're not deep down in you don't need it for work. That means 5 out of the 7 days in a week ogenda kuba you don't drive that car, parking, it will be killing money for you. Don't buy the car. If you only need a car for the weekend or Saturday or Sunday or both days, you can hire a car. Umuntu kwa do emitwala abiri for 2 days, no emitwala 10 emeka. Kunyoka kankwa emitwala 15 because ku Saturday and Sunday. Just like that, you're spending very small money. You're not taking the risk of fixing the car. You're not taking. And by the way, don't just get cars from your friends. Get cars from the professional people aba hiring a motoka, because for them emotoka ye ne bwefa yagikanika bwefanga omugambo waye emotoka efudde kino na kino mpereza makanika nga bakweza makanika nga makanika agitereza ngo ovuge emotoka ngo ogenda bibyo ubanga bakuwe emotoka endala ngeyo bagitwala. But normally when you get a car from your friend ate, because you're getting it for free now kati ate bwefa kino ate kikanike wesanga nti you have gotten a car for free from a friend naye ate ogispendizemu emitwalo 4. It doesn't really make sense. Just go to a place where they hire cars and hire a car gye bajja okwekanikira. So someone is saying that Arthur, we need cars. Comments are not coming. Why aren't the comments coming? So we need cars for safety. But my brother, yes, you need a car for safety, but if you're not driving it every day, so what are you keeping safe from? Chenkugamba. And yes, we need a car for safety. But if I'm not going to be driving that car every day, then I'm still not keeping myself safe, because I'm just parking at the border. That's what I'm telling you. Nze nvuga buli lunaku. Okitegeera, eh? Yeah, the new cars actually have, but even you can install a car, a reverse camera on your car. Babu tunda reverse camera ba mitwalo nge 5. No kaleta no kasa ku radio yo. Like my radio is a screen radio. I can actually mount a reverse so that when I put my can reverse it shows. But even that thing it automate, because what automate mabigati so kuluburono. But some new cars have sensors and bosembere nye motoka bosembere nye chintu a beeping. And the beep is supposed to help you not knock anyone. So someone said that we need cars for safety. But if you're not driving, Arthur, this is Stuart, we need a car for safety. If you have watched how borders kill people. Yes, borders kill people, Stuart. But your car will only keep you safe if and only if you drive it every day like I do. But if you're going to buy a car and 7 or 5 out of 7 days, 5 out of 7 days you're parking it, kata webate kuuma ku church wegenda okukuuma, of which ku church osobola okwekwata omuntu n'omugamba by the way nja kuwangayo emitwalo 15 buli weekend ku Saturday nkereze moroke eyo wano. By the way, people can bring their cars. Ngaakimanyiza ku weekend nyina wenzi emitwalo 15. That is 600,000 that is making. Ajja kuleetera ng'emmoroka buli naku agikuteera ewaka akugambe yiyo omugambo ojja gino nanga ku Sunday olw'eggulu. So it means Saturday you can move your things, Sunday you can go to church. At 150 you put fuel, novuge moroka yo. And trust me, genda ku kyalo. If you're in Uganda, go to the village. Find a one young man, ne bwaba avuga UBB, omugambe mbali njagala kumpangisa ku moroka yo ku weekend. Naye nyina budget ya mitwalo 10 every weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Ajja kugamba ampaka le mitwalo 2, omugambe kale njja kuwa 15. Trust me, every weekend ajja jivuga ng'emoroka agikuleetera. Ku Saturday ku machaji kuleetera aginone ku Sunday olw'eggulu. Gwe bwajeta ku Saturday ku machamu 15 gye agende ku Sunday aginone. This is how you are going to be saving money. It means you're going to be spending 6 million annually. Ngatoka ni same motoka. You have not taken risks. So on the Sundays where you need the car, because bogule motoka ya million 12 ngogenda jibuga Saturday na Sunday, you're wasting money. Ochigira, of which bonotukanga weekend ezimunga you don't need to move. Oja mugamba inchato jimpa. Weekend eno sijja kutambuza motoka and you'll stay home. Ochitegera. And on the days when you need it for one day, ngomugamba ngenda kuwayo 10, oba ngenda kuwa 8. Ochitegera. Yes, the channel is for the love of cars. I should be encouraging you guys to buy cars so that mumpaka kasente after jantu gendo nyambeko and you expect the car for me. But I'm not going to tell you to just buy cars bwerere, because in Chimanyi the decisions we make now impact our lives in the future. Ochitegera. Yes, it's enough to own yours, but the expense jogenda okuteka muku maintaining emoroka joguze 6 million. Ochitegera. Nti emoroka nebo ogigula million 6, omwaka gugenda okugwako nga teri mu million 6 zo spendings. Okitegera nti emoroka olugigula bw'otyo ogenda gikola service kibina 6 million. Kibina ya 6 million enakuba mpya tazan. Kibina 6 million has to be new. It has UAT enakuba namba mpya. Again, I need a car for peace of mind. No problem, JK. If you need a car for peace of mind, kati ate kati gwawo oba mu class ndala je tugambe nti omuntu agule mmoroka for class. Ntika njagala ngule mmoroka yange ebirewo nti nyine mmoroka. There are also people that have built houses for peace of mind. Ngatajibera mga achapangisa. Nenge mnyumba yeje eri nga achimanyi when times get tough, I can go to my house. Nga jeri probably ngate muli na abeeramu. My neighbor in the estate. My neighbor takolachi. They don't live in their house, but it's totally complete. It has power, it has tiles and everything. Nete babeera ebachapangisa, but they know their house is there. Which take it off. So for peace of mind that my house is there, wenjagalira nyingira. So JK, kate JK you're a class above. Nti nsobola ogula moroka nenjiteekaawo ne parkinga. But I'm talking to the people that probably can't. Nga bwakwata million 10-12 ziparkingaawo. Agenda tukatagitundu omusanvu. Because wagitundide omusanvu, they have a very urgent need, or they have a need that cannot wait. Okitegeera. So, but that's all I had to cover today. We have covered the reasons for you to think about before you buy a car. One, if you cannot fuel that car every day, tojigura. Because I don't think if you can, JK, if you cannot fuel a car every day, or if you cannot just fuel the car, I don't think you even have a peace of mind. Because mafuta. If you cannot maintain a car, there is no peace of mind. Because the jakufe chintu, but you can't drive it because it has a fault. Then, if you cannot replace the car in a period of 3 months after it's gone, don't buy it. Then I said the people that are buying new cars from the bond, if you cannot afford comprehensive insurance after you have bought that car, don't buy it, because you're risking. For example, the car parked in front of me, the Mark X is a UBK. Now you buy that UBK Mark X at 30 million, and you say you cannot afford. How much would be the insurance there? The insurance would be around 1.8. You cannot afford insurance of 1.8. Kate moroka eyo omwana bwajja n'agikula n'agiteeka mu line okuva eno paka eri nga bagamba twetaaga emitwalo 10 gifuuwa, because tulina gifuuwa skirt oba emitwalo 2 ngate emitwalo 2 sigiina. But if you paid your car 1.8, you just go to the insurance n'obagamba omwana yakulubudde. JK, good. If one has to think about fuel, don't buy. It's exactly. Bw'oba amafuta ogalowoozaako, then don't buy. Okitegeera. So if you're going to buy a car, I'm still saying insurance jigule. Togula moroka, because then you should not be buying a new car. Okitegeera. Then I'm also saying that if you don't need a car for your work, togula motoka. I don't know if you get me. Bobe moroko jetaga just kugenda ku church ku Sunday. You can, I've told you kubyala abana kwebali. Nejeke nyina agula for peace of mind. Bw'omugamba nti jeke kankweye emitwalo 10 ngendeko ku church olwaliro bangendeko mu kyalo, ojja musanga naye kumite gimuluma. Emoroka ye probably eri already mu comprehensive insurance nga bajja je replacinga. Olumu nga akumanya a very careful driver nga gampe kumingulira abaana bange pizza. Nga akuwe emoroka nga ogenda. Okitegeera, there are people that would give you their cars on weekend ng'omuwadde akasente n'ogenda ku church n'ogenda mu kyalo n'ogikomyawo n'omwe emoroka ye n'agitwala ne bagyoza n'azza emoroka ye wali n'agikozesa Monday to Friday. So it's important that we think about those things before we go ahead and buy cars, because abantu banyinze benda benge moroka agiguza ate nekola ki nemulemerera. For me, nze nga Arthur, it does not make sense for me to buy a car nenjireka mu parking neninya taxi. Okitegeera, the times I've taken taxis, either moroka yange yali kulangi, which those times made me think about buying a second car. Emoroka yange yali kulangi. I remember when I had a Primo bali basumudde engine nga bagenda gikola. That's another time I took a taxi. Also, nga ntunze motoka ku machaleero nesefuna motoka ku and I have to go back and look for a car the next day. Mukitegeera. But most of the times when I sold my car and I had to have like a month without a car, I went and hired a car from a friend of mine nga muwe mitwalo ng'etaano olunaku. Mukitegeera. And when I'm taking it for longer periods, ngolumu mu esatu olunaku, and I have their car, and I nesigala nga nevuga. Okitegeera. Normally, I say when I sell a car, I make sure that I have money that to keep me on the road if I'm going to spend more times. Actually, that car na time natunda chibina, and I wanted to buy a car of 10 million. So I had to wait to top up that money. That's why I spent like, I think it was 1 or 2 months. And yeah. And I hired a car from my friend. For him it would work for him. My neighbor had a car window, he would drive at most 4 times a month. Olaba kati okwata million ya 5 million nkaga nozituuza. Of course ayinza baya ina sente ze nga tekimumenya. Okitegeera. But now I'm talking to the guys nga gwe sente zo sinnyingi nnyo nga kijja kuba kikumenya to drive it for. Okitegeera. Yes, that's the same time I also had a car window. Yeah, so bwekibanga tekikumenye, I think everyone needs a car if he can buy it, but the most important is knowing which type of car is affordable for you. Yeah, just know emoroka gy'osobola. Let's look at the first 3 things probably. Jeke during COVID enyumba ya mulema nadduka, olaba? So ogula emoroka ya million 5 nga tosobola kusasula rent mu COVID. Okitegeera. You have to look at the expenses that you have, your daily expenses. No kakasa nti emoroka atete jja kulemesa nti atira ogula kawundo nga ya bei na yenge nyumba gyopangisa togisobola. Anyway, but those are things for us to think about. Guys, I have to go. Kasera kagenda kupatikana. Guys, don't forget, I have a marketing workshop that I'm going to run from 28th November to 3rd December. And I'm going to be covering the basics of marketing to the advanced marketing concepts, digital marketing, mulimu search engine optimization, mulimu of course social media marketing, mulimu content marketing, mulimu the basic marketing, how to utilize word of mouth, customer service and all. You get. So I'm going to be covering those things, but you can of course subscribe noja no soma the full marketing course. Emitwalo 16. It's 6 days, 2 hours a day. Then over no subscribing for the individual, either digital marketing or customer service. Emitwalo 10 still 2 hours every day. Yes. So of course, if you want to learn more about this workshop, you can visit my website arthurchisenyi.com/workshops. arthurchisenyi.com. Arthur is ARTHUR, Chisenyi like the place .com. Neka slash akasaze oba bakayita batya .workshops. Unogisomako workshop, you can share that link with people. I uploaded videos on this very channel Why? Because this channel inako ku mikwano janga basobola okunsharingirako. You can download that video no sharingako ne mikwano jo oba sharinga ka link yako ku social media channels zo, so that I get people baje mu workshop. Of course sagala banji nnyo, but being a marketing person nchimanyi nti niwe abantu batano, you have to put in a lot of work. Actually, if you need 5 people, you need to market to a minimum of 50 people, which take. But normally I tell people market to a minimum of 500 people if you need 5. Umeme and Rain these days failed me to watch early, but thanks for the live. No problem, Jack. You can always watch later because it gets uploaded either way. So you guys, we have covered. Thank you very much. Let me just see. I don't know what is happening to YouTube this morning. They don't Airtel misbehaving. Yeah, so you guys, thank you very much for being here. Kenneth is saying you have articulated it clearly, and then Julius is saying if you are not able to replace parts replacement, give all the shocks and get good tires, don't buy a used car. Atakati Julius mu Uganda fena tugula used cars kizibu kusanga muntu agula moroka mpya ile moroka zonna kaibe ya bond ile mipiro gisako. So basically let's just say if you cannot keep the car on the road, so Seth, Kenneth, Emma, Brian, Ivan, Martha, Joanne, Patrick, Besengese Kenneth, because I'm saying that because there is another Kenneth as well. David, Joel, Dennis, Samuel, Tazan, yeah, Stuart, Modern Coda, JK, yeah, and David Jack. Thank you very much, guys, for taking the time to be here on this live. Thank you for being here. Help me promote my my workshop. It's happening between 28th and 3rd December. Why then? Because the Christmas period, abantu abalina business in Kampala, it should be the time, for example, to make a lot of sales, but also otandika okuleyinga emirandira next year. So the skills I'm going to give people during the workshop will help them to not only sell more during Christmas, but they will also help them to concretize next year's sales. But customer jakuba bofunye kati tosobola baluzinga next year. Atela word of mouth jakutambula nnyo next year. Ebintu byensomesa sustainable marketing. My brother Isaiah ngo tusede eti to concludinga. Ebintu byensomesa mu workshop it's sustainable marketing. Steady marketing eyo kubumbujja ne bakumanya in 1 year ate omwaka ogujja ne babanga bakwelabidde. So help me if you want to learn more about the workshop. Of course, visit my website arthurchisenyi.com/web of workshops, and then you learn more about it. Yes. Yeah, so workshop page promoting it. Don't forget I sell tracking devices. I also sell car alarms. I also help people inspect cars. Ngogenda gule moroka, I can help you inspect. I also have a network of brokers bemanyi betsobola okubira ngogenda okunoonya moroka ntubaga twagala moroka bweti netugenda tuziyitamu. Yeah, so the person that I helped buy a car on Saturday tujja kudda and sharing experience here after a few months. I don't want him to share now because moroka yakabeera nayo, but we will share his experience later on. Tubuulire emoroka agisanza atya sofa kuba bwe yagigula, spends the cent and and all those things, and whether he would encourage someone to buy a car at that price and that particular car. So anyway, I have to go for work. Namwe mukama abateremu bwangu. I know it's morning even almost in all the countries where we are. So mukama abateremu bwangu. God bless you. Ciao.